Frank, please.
First of all, I hate that picture, by the way. Took it when I was wearing a tuxedo to the Metaverse conference in Austin, and my entire team has put that out to everyone. Thanks so much, Olga. I appreciate the introduction. You know, what we're really building here is the next generation of what the web is. And what we're doing here with all the different people that have been put together with the infrastructure and the underlying tools that are being developed at the moment for the Metaverse is quite amazing. And just how Next Change has actually put everything together, we really appreciate it. But one of the things that we're doing that has been the hardest part is getting people into the Metaverse, right? And actually creating those environments that people can actually work together and actually experience the Metaverse. And it's one of the things that we've been challenged with, both on the Web3 basis, but just in general, in having people come in. And so, as I pull up my speech here, 1 second, what we need to do is take that leap into the Metaverse, and what we've actually laid out is adding a new dimension to your Metaverse. So how do we get your business into what we call a new dimension, right? Obviously being the third. So why does your business need to be in the Metaverse? It's a difficult question at the moment, and every CEO and marketing manager at the moment is trying to answer that. You know, with all these different things that are currently out there in the Metaverse today, you think about these things, which is the NFTs, the land sales, the different things that people are thinking of what the Metaverse is today and how they're monetizing on it, right? With the current market at the moment where they're saying it's anywhere between a $5 and $13 trillion industry in 2030, everyone's just scrambling, trying to get their own little place in the Metaverse. And that's what's happening today. Everyone's just basically going out and grabbing that piece. But what we need to do now is figure out, why does your business need to be in the Metaverse? And it has nothing to do with any of these things. This is all just a specific grab at the moment for people to actually go out there and find these areas. So what we need to do is take it from this dimension to the next one. And that is, how do we commercialize the Metaverse? And how do you get your business into that area? So, you know, I'm not going to go out in 2030, and when I'm going to go buy a television, I'm not going to be doing this because I found a Google advertisement, right, that all of a sudden picked up my information. I'm not going to be doing it because I got some spam email that came through our system, and that never worked with me in the first place anyways. I'm going to basically be on my way to the concert for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I saw in July, which was fantastic, by the way. And I'm going to actually see a billboard advertisement, right? That billboard advertisement is going to immediately read my data associated with our partnership with the Cirrus Foundation, right? Where I own my own data, I now provide it to that advertiser, and that advertiser then immediately knows that I need a television, right? So I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna look at that television. I'm gonna go right into the Metaverse. I'm gonna be able to play with that television. I'm gonna be able to change the interface. I'm going to be able to look at it and fit it into my environment because I bought a couch last week and I scanned my living room, and I'm able to fit that television into my living room. This is the real power of what we're actually going to be doing, and that's the way that people are going to be purchasing things in the next 10 years. It's not going to be in the classical style. I'm going to be able to go to the electronics store, and I'm going to be able to sit there and stand next to another person who's also buying a television and talk to them. I'm going to be able to talk to the guy that is actually a customer service representative that is going to come up to me because I walked into a specific area. They're going to be immediately connected via their phone in a store, be able to show me the television and walk around with it. And that is the new way that purchasing will happen for these specific items. Now, you can apply this to anything, right? You can apply this to everything from a television to a phone to, your new dress that you're going to buy for prom. And that's how these new purchases will occur in the metaverse in the next 10, 15 years. What's really interesting, though, is that with this whole paradigm, I'm talking about a television. I may not have a television in 2030, right? It's going to be the same way that my kids are going to talk to their children about how they had a television in their living room. I'm going to talk to them at the moment that I had a cord on my phone in 1992, right? It's going to be very similar. Now, granted, there may be 3D projection technologies that are sitting there that people actually, have in their living room, but it is probably not going to be a television. I know this all sounds like science fiction, but, when you think about 10, 15 years ago, right? We had social media wasn't even actually a thing in most marketing and business plans, right? You actually had to go to your CEO and tell them, we have a social media or we have these different marketing plans, and the idea that an app or social media wasn't even in them, back in 2007, which is kind of crazy. This is also, I know this is not going to play when I hit this button. Yeah, it didn't. This is actually our avatar system that will actually sit there and tell you and have the preferences. Oh, wait. Maybe she is talking. Nope. This is our avatar that knows exactly who you are, what you need to do, and knows everything about my children from to my living room setup, and she'll actually sell you a television. And this is a revolutionary idea that will actually change the way that things are sold. So one of the big things here is that PwC has actually talked about the metaverse as being this $13 trillion industry. But what's more important right now, at this specific time that we're sitting here, is that they're talking about that 38% of people that are in businesses at a high level are actually going to be implementing a metaverse strategy plan. They've already gone through the point of starting their idea of what the metaverse commercialization will be, and now they're implementing it within the next year. And that's really important. But the real question is how do you get your business into the metaverse? So we lay it out in 3 different ways, and we do a lot of this with individual companies, right? Everything from starting on the near term, the intermediate term, and of course the future. So on the near term, we always talk about achievable goals for people, right? We always talk about how you get your company into the metaverse, and I guarantee you, right now, most companies that are trying to do this have zero knowledge of what the metaverse is. We're all trying to figure it out right now. We spent years doing it with Pax.world, but most people don't have the in-house knowledge to actually even understand not only the challenges that are involved, but also how they actually get to that point. Half the time I'm explaining to people how you move inside a metaverse or a 3D environment where you have to actually press WASD or the arrow keys. I literally have to explain that to most people. And I know that's just not the greatest thing. What people need to do right now is they need to get their CEO, their CFO, their personal assistant to go into the metaverse and start trying different environments. And not just one environment, right? The metaverse is a broad range of things, from VR to all the way to desktop environments to augmented reality. And without having that underlying knowledge, it's really difficult for you to actually sell a metaverse strategy to your CEO. It's the same thing that happened with social media back, 15, 20 years ago, right? You had that conversation with your CEO where you had to go up to him and say, hey, we need to be on Twitter, we need to be on Facebook, we need to be on these different environments. They didn't even have a Twitter account, right? And you still had to sell that. I was there, I had that conversation, and I'm sure everyone here did as well. You have to get these people actually experiencing these environments in a very simple way. In the intermediate term, it's actually a more interesting thing. What you need to do is you need to actually start figuring out the ideas of what your commercialization strategy is for the metaverse. So this can be anything from small events, using existing environments, small investment, that you can basically bring everyone in and start gaining metrics. Hardest part of anything. You need to basically figure out how you are actually going to commercialize this. Everyone says, hey, we're just going to sell NFTs. We're going to sell this specific product. We're going to sell this, that, and the other thing. Never works that way. There's hard commercialization strategies that you can lay out, and there's soft as well. And the soft is the experience that you can provide for people, the community, and pull that in. The hard, obviously, redirect them to a Web 2 thing where you can actually purchase something. But then you have the future. And this is the hardest part. The future is figuring out what you can do today and what you can do tomorrow. You will hear and you will be here today and you'll see photorealistic environments. You'll see amazing areas where you can have fully decentralized systems with Web 3. The fact of the matter is none of these things are capable today with today's technology, maybe for a few devices on the side. What you need to do is make sure that you have the capacity planning and the actual technology that's involved to actually put these things together. It's been a difficult thing for me because I've always tried to market our product specifically with Pax.world to go to the lowest end device, right? $300 Chromebook. That's what I always tell every single person in my company. That is one of the most difficult things to do because a $300 Chromebook is not set up to actually run the metaverse. But that's an important piece of what you need to do is figure out how far you actually have to go with the technology and who you're targeting. Do you want to go to the mass market, or do you want to go for this small segment on the side that actually can run your metaverse today? But with all that involved, and I'm looking at the time here, I do want to talk about what we are set up here over the next couple of weeks and give you an announcement that we are actually doing with Metaverse. So we have set up a partnership, and I believe, I'm just trying to find, there he is. So we are currently set up here in Dubai, obviously, that we've laid out a system with our new partnership with Virtue Zone. Virtue Zone has actually set up over 60,000 companies over the past 13 years to actually provide an environment for people to actually do business in the metaverse. And I am very proud to bring up on stage here, oh, here we go, and announce our partnership with Virtue Zone.
Thanks, Frank. Hi, everyone. I'm George. I'm the CEO of Virtue Zone. I'm one of those CEOs that Frank was talking about, who is not completely sold into the metaverse, but then kept having my people tell me, we got to do it, it's the future. So here we are.
Yeah.
We are basically company formation specialists. We set up about 500 companies a month here in the UAE. So we do everything from licensing to visas and everything that goes with it. And a natural progression in our, I would say, lifetime is to move into the metaverse and allow people to be present on that stage as well. We're very excited about this. I think that it's something that's going to pioneer Dubai business setups, and we're very excited to be the first people that actually do it. And so, without further ado, I'd like to present you the Virtuzone headquarters on the Metaverse, which is basically a V-shaped building called simply the V.
And they just came to us and said, we need a big V that is our world. And we can't wait to actually have people walking around in this, doing business on a day-to-day basis.
And we can't wait to populate it with hundreds and hundreds of companies. So it's definitely a first step into the future. And we thank you, Frank, for helping us get it there and for guiding us through this. And we're very excited. So, ladies and gentlemen, the V.
Thanks so much. We really appreciate it. And it's oh yeah. It's a really exciting time for us with just allowing people to chat and talk in this metaverse, and we can't wait for it. So
and people are excited. I can tell you, a lot of people are asking us about it. They want to set up already, and I think we're going to be a stepping stone for a quick and cheap setup there. So they're going to save them a lot of money.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, please stop by our booth. You'll see our Zoom-style video chats inside the metaverse, where you just walk up and bump into someone, and that's the real power of what
I'm
we're
sold
creating
now.
here.
Now I'm sold. I can tell you that.
So
thanks, Frank.
Thanks so much.